It's your girl, Tanika.
And it's y'all's boy, Lucci.
Listen, we're on another episode of Pride in Our Health podcast.
Yep, it is our last episode of the season. And to conclude the season, we have a special guest with us today. They go by the name of Adrianna Boulin. They are the Director of Racial Equity, Social Justice, and Community Engagement at Fenway Health. We're super stoked to have them here today, and we're going to be, interviewing them a little later, and we're excited for that for sure.
Yeah, and it's Pride Month.
It's Pride
in our
Month.
Name. It's in the month.
Yep.
We ending strong and colorful.
Ain't that the truth? As we should. But starting off, we got a few things to go through before we introduce Adrianna.
It's your favorite segment on here.
Fenway
411. Where I give you all the tea. I mean, observancy days.
Close enough.
So starting off strong with our observancy days. June 5th is HIV Long-Term Survivors Day. June 19th is Juneteenth. Lucci, you want to tell us something about that?
You got it, of course. So Juneteenth, celebrated on June 19th, marks the end of slavery in the United States. The name combines June and 19th, commemorating the day in 1865 when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, to announce General Order No. 3, declaring all enslaved people free. This announcement came over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation due to the lack of Union troops in Texas to enforce it. Juneteenth has been celebrated since 1866, starting with church gatherings in Texas and expanding to include cultural events, educational activities, and family gatherings nationwide. It honors African American freedom and achievements. In June 2021, Juneteenth was recognized as a federal holiday, Juneteenth National Independence Day, highlighting its significance in American history and the ongoing journey towards equality and justice. Also coming up is June 27th, National HIV Testing Day. National HIV Testing Day is observed annually on June 27th to encourage people to get tested for HIV, know their status, and seek prevention or treatment services. Established by the National Association of People with AIDS in 1995, this day aims to raise awareness about the importance of HIV testing and to reduce the stigma associated with the disease. HIV, also known as human immune deficiency virus, remains a significant public health issue affecting millions of people worldwide. In the United States, thousands of new infections occur each year, and a substantial number of individuals are unaware of their HIV status. Early detection through testing is crucial, as it allows individuals to begin antiretroviral therapy, also known as ART, sooner, improving their health outcomes and reducing the risk of transmitting the virus by staying undetectable.
Oh, you mean U equals U?
Exactly. So U equals U stands for undetectable equals untransmittable, a groundbreaking concept in HIV prevention and treatment. This message conveys that people living with HIV who achieve and maintain an undetectable viral load, also known as the amount of HIV in the blood, through consistent antiretroviral therapy, also known as ART, cannot sexually transmit the virus to others. This principle has been endorsed by numerous health organizations, including the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the World Health Organization, WHO, and is supported by robust scientific evidence. National HIV Testing Day is a critical observance that highlights the importance of HIV testing, promotes awareness and education, and connects people to vital care and prevention services. By encouraging routine HIV testing and reducing stigma, National HIV Testing Day plays a significant role in the ongoing efforts to end the HIV epidemic and improve the lives of those affected by the virus.
Wow. I know you got some content coming up for that day, so
Yeah,
I can't wait to see.
Yes, we do.
Stay in touch with some resources.
Hey.
Going into observancy weeks, we have June 10th to June 16th, which is Men's Health Week. We have June 13th to 19th, which is National Nursing Assistant Week. And we have June 17th to 21st, which is Healthcare Risk Management Week. For the month, we have PTSD Awareness Month, Cataract Awareness Month, and Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. And for the big one, that's in our name, it's Pride Month.
Hey.
Woo! So this June, we come together to honor the resilience, diversity, and joy of the LGBTQIA plus community. It's a time to reflect on how far we've come, recognize the work that still needs to be done, and celebrate the vibrant culture that brings our community together and is so unique. Together, we can make this year's celebration brighter and more colorful than ever. Fenway Health actually walked in the Pride Parade.
Yeah.
No, Boston Pride for the People Parade and Festival.
Yeah, we did.
I was a walking rainbow and I loved it.
Hey, she was.
And our logo was the highlight.
Sure
For
was.
me, it was all over posters,
It was everything.
our
It was
shirts,
all our merch.
pants.
It was actually the
Buttons.
theme of Fenway Health's involvement in Boston Pride for the Parade this year.
Yeah.
You know, pride in our health.
Pride in our health. My health, my voice.
Yep. Healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
Hey.
Period.
Okay, if you saw us, you saw us.
Yep.
So Pride Month is a time to express yourself boldly and colorfully, whether you're waving a rainbow flag, wearing your favorite Pride gear, or simply just being your authentic self. Remember that your presence and support make a difference. Let's come together to celebrate love, diversity, and the progress we've made. So we definitely did that. And we have a whole bunch more of events. Not us, but like just the community in general. Yeah. So much. Literally, I think there's almost an event definitely every weekend, but almost every day, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Nah, it's a good time though. It's a good time.
Yeah, but you can see us like tabling at some of these events.
Yeah.
If you want to know the 411 on the events, I'm not about to go out and say the whole list.
But she got a list. Trust, she got a list.
There's a list.
She got a list.
There's a list. I spent some hours trying to calibrate it together. So yeah, if you're in Mass and want to celebrate Pride, take a look at Fenway Health's blog. We have a Pride post that has a list of all the events going, or most of the events. Honestly, I think almost all the events going on
across the state of Mass.
Yeah, across the state of Mass, nearby communities, especially here in Fenway. So get out there, have some fun with your community. Dress in rainbow like I did.
Yeah. Wave
a flag.
Yeah.
Get a button.
Yeah.
Do all the things. So yeah. So for us getting into Pride Month with this podcast episode, just like you said, we have a special little guest.
We sure do.
So for Pride Month, we have a special guest that honestly represents Pride, at least for me, very well. So I know you said a little bit about her, but it's my turn now. So Adrianna's divine mission is to help humans reach their full potential. She loves creating spaces where communities can come together in authentic and uplifting ways that deepen our connection to ourselves, to each other, and promote healing. Adrianna is interested in understanding and addressing issues related to authenticity, healing, empathy, racial justice, health equity, and community engagement.
Talk to us a little bit more about her role here at Fenway, Tanika.
Sure. So as a director of racial equity, social justice, and community engagement here at Fenway Health, Adrianna is responsible for leading and managing initiatives that address racial disparities and promote inclusivity, and equality. She collaborates with internal and external partners to develop and implement programs, policies, and practices that foster a culture of diversity and equity, and is also responsible for engaging with community members, organizations, and leaders to build partnerships and drive positive change. Wow. She is impactful.
Sure is.
Here at Fenway Health. But also in the community.
Yeah. In addition to all what Tanika just said, Adrianna is also the president of Boston Pride for the People.
Yeah, Lucci. Exactly. Adrianna is the president of Boston Pride for the People, whose mission is to amplify the beauty, rich diversity, unique culture, and intersectionality.
Intersectionality.
Thank you. Of the LGBTQIA plus community through engagement, education, commemoration, and celebration. As president, Adrianna collaborates with other boards and committee members to organize the annual Pride Parade and Festival in Boston and work to uplift the work happening across Boston in our LGBTQIA plus communities led by other LGBTQI plus individuals, groups, and organizations here. Yeah. I'm pretty sure she has more to say and more to add, and I can't wait. Let's welcome
Adrianna Boulin.
Hi, Adrianna.
Hey, Tanika.
It's great having you here.
It's
welcome.
great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay. We kind of already introduced you to the people.
Yeah.
Per se, but
Okay.
do you want to do your own little introduction?
Yeah, I'll add to what you all have mentioned because I'm sure you all have shared a lot. But hey, y'all, my name is Adrianna Boulin. You can say Adrianna. I love hearing it said different ways. Just be respectful, put some respect on it, which is like whatever way is most authentic for you. I use pronouns like she and her, and I'm the director of racial equity, social justice, and community engagement here at Fenway Health. I'm also the president of Boston Pride for the People, and I'm sure I'll have an opportunity to share more about that later. And I love creating spaces where people can see who they are and have the space to be who they are fully and authentically.
I love that.
Thank you. That's me.
Through and through,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, so it is Pride Month. We're on a Pride
Hey.
podcast, and so it's gonna be all about Pride.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
I love it.
So starting off with our icebreaker, my Pride colors. So, the question for this icebreaker is, what two Pride colors do you align with or embody the most? And I could read off each color. You want to go back and forth with the colors?
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to start, or you want to
I'll
start?
start with red. I love red.
That's true. That's true. You're wrong.
Okay, so red, life. Red represents the vitality and life force of the LGBTQIA plus community.
Period. Next color is orange. Orange represents healing, symbolizing the healing power and efforts to overcome discrimination and adversity.
Yellow. Yellow is sunlight. It stands for the light and warmth that we bring into the world.
Ooh. Next up, green, my favorite, nature. Green highlights the connection to the natural world and the importance of environmental sustainability.
Ooh, blue, harmony. Blue signifies peace and harmony within the community and with the world.
Purple is spirit. Purple represents the spirit of the LGBTQIA plus community, embodying strength, pride, and a commitment to equality.
Black and brown. The black and brown stripes showcase the LGBTQIA plus BIPOC community and people living with HIV.
Then we got light blue, white, and pink, and the flag represents trans people.
Yellow and the purple circle. We're using the, progressive flag?
It is a progressive flag.
Yeah.
I think the circle is for non-binary, two-spirited folks.
It says the intersex flag uses yellow and purple to contrast with blue and pink, and the unbroken circle represents being whole.
Ooh.
Yeah, deep.
Wow.
I love it.
I love all of those colors. What's coming up for me most of them all are the orange healing. I'm wearing that color.
Yeah.
And yellow sunlight, sunshine, healing, because healing is such a sacred practice for me. There are like quite a few, and one of them is healing. It is such a mixed bag of feelings and comfort level and experience. And the outcome is always so precious and special to me when I see it in myself and other people. So I love that. And I just love seeing light in the world. I love people finding their light. I love shining mine. I love recognizing others. So those are two that I love.
That's amazing. We all
Thank
carry
you.
some light.
We do.
You know,
We
all
do.
All right, sweet. So the first question for today is, can you share a pivotal moment in your life that significantly shaped who you are today?
Yeah. There are moments, and I can share more. There is like a characteristic of this moment or a pattern of a moment that I see reoccurring in my life. And every time it comes, it does something else to my being. Um, and what the moment is this opportunity where I'm calling for change. I'm saying, like, I need something that I'm not getting in this moment. And I need this to change, or maybe I haven't gotten to that point of knowing, but I need this. And I am like externally asking for it, and the world comes back and says, like, you are that. And so some examples of that is, I remember I was in elementary school. I went to a magnet school. I grew up when I was a younger person in Lynn, Massachusetts. And huge melting pot. We went to this magnet school, which is a school that is designed to have a lot of different programming. We didn't have no extra programs. We did not have extra
I went to a
programs.
magnet school.
Yeah. And so I, like, knowing and having so much pride in, oh, we're a magnet school. Like, I was always looking for, like, okay, so what exists? And, like, let me know. We had programs. You know, I got to play the violin. I got to do the recorder. Got to go to Boston Ballet. So, like, don't come at me, Lynn. Like, y'all did stuff. And there were things that I was looking for that didn't exist. And so I remember I got exposed to poetry. I remember you remember those scholastic book fairs?
Yeah.
I'm just getting so excited thinking about it. I wouldn't read half those pages, but it just felt good to, like, walk in and, okay. So that was where I first got exposed to poetry. I saw a poetry book there and I was like, poetry, what's this? Oh, these are put together really interesting. And I got so interested that I wanted to start a poetry club. And so I approached my teacher and I was like, it was third grade. I was like, hey, can we start some kind of club? We didn't have a club system at my elementary school. There wasn't space set aside for that. And she was like, we don't have that. But, like, how about you create it? That of, here, this is what I need. This is the change I'm looking for. Do you know they allowed us an hour out of class every 2 weeks for a poetry club? There was never another group that was able to do that. I don't know if they still have that there, but that's just an example. And another example in my trajectory, I went to Stoughton High School. It's Southern Mass. And I think it's evolving now, but at the time, like, I was one of very few people of color. And it felt like I needed more resources than I had access to for a variety of reasons. And I remember going to the principal at the time, and I was like, hey, like, we need something. Us students of color in these honors and AP classes, like, we need something. And she's like, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I was telling you to do something about it.
Like, why I got to do it?
And, like, through different conversations and connecting with different students who are like, yeah, I actually want something similar, we created a group that still exists to this day, which is beautiful. Over 13 years old. It's called Fruition Scholars, and it's focused on providing the resources and tools that high school students need to succeed that they might not have access to, particularly students of color. Two more examples I'll give, and then I'll transition, is I remember when there were two individuals that I lost in my life from just a couple weeks before undergraduate graduation. And during a time where I was asking a lot of questions about myself and what I wanted and who I was and if I was happy. I lost my brother right before undergrad graduation, and my grandfather at the end of 2018. And seeing how short life, to me, seeing how short life was, even though people may say, like, you know, older individual like a grandfather has lived life, but just seeing life not be on earth anymore, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. If I'm feeling like I'm not being my full authentic self, I need to like do that now. So before it was the world kind of saying like, hey, what are you going to do? And now it was kind of internally within me saying, this is what I need. This is what needs to change. And what am I going to do about it? And that was, and I started, so my grandfather actually passed away in 2017. And I went through this year. I had moved to Jamaica prior to take care of him, my grandfather, and then just support through different family things. And in that year of 2018, I was asking myself this question, like, what's changing? What am I going to do about it? And I remember I started working at Fenway January 2019. And that start at Fenway, it just seemed like so many different things were changing. I had changed the romantic relationship I was in. I better understood myself, my sexual orientation, the work I wanted to do. At Fenway, I was surrounded by people that were already mission driven. So it was like, wow. And then last where I'll land is with Boston Pride for the People and organizing the Pride Parade and Festival. Our community, our city was calling for change. We needed to feel respected, like there was a place that was listening, that was creating spaces for more dialogue to happen. And I was a part of those spaces. I was a part of calling for change. And I remember when we moved to realizing change wasn't going to come and it would be have to something that was built. There were a lot of individuals in the community that were like, hey girl, I think you should be a part of this. And I was just like, I'm just part of the coalition. Like, I'm down with y'all. Yeah. There were so many people that were like, no, like the skills that we need in an individual in this space, like, you got it, girl. Like, do it right now. And that helped support me to be involved in Boston Pride for the People in the way that I was. So bringing it back to your original question of a moment, it's a moment that I've seen reoccurring in my life. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, is there another one coming up? But yeah, it's seeing that pattern. It comes up, and whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm being called to be the change.
Hey, that's powerful. We need that framed and put in every bedroom, every office, everything.
Thank
wow,
you.
That's powerful right there. And I know I was going to ask you something, but then I realized
I started so deep, like, woo!
No, you good. No, we're going to continue in that deep train.
Okay,
that's what we do around here.
If
you want to go ask it, Tanika, I was going to ask the same question, but then I was like, we already have it listed.
Wow.
I know, because I was listening to Adrianna speak, and I was like, what inspires you, Adrianna?
No, I want that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Being called to, what did you say? Being called to create change.
Yeah, being the change.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember what I said, but it could be all of those things.
Something would change.
Yeah, something would change. Change.
Yeah. That's your calling.
Being the change you want to see. Who else said that? Obama?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, probably.
Honestly.
Right. I mean, it could be first. You know, people always come out with the remix and then it's really original. So we're going to work it out. We'll drop that in the link or something.
Hey. Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
Something you've shared in the past about, because we're talking about quotes. And there's a quote that you've mentioned in the past.
Yeah.
I am because we are.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit onto that?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking about that. So the phrase is I am because you are, and the Swahili, what it is in Swahili is Ubuntu. And I was first exposed to it. I went to Emmanuel College, you know, Emmanuel College represent. And there is a program that they have there where we had the opportunity to go to South Africa in Eswatini. And I remember it's very clear inequities in our systems here in the U.S. Like, we see it. Somehow, I didn't get it until I saw it in a place where you can't miss it. And the communities and villages that we visited, like, there were examples where I can clearly see, like, there is a stark difference in what people have access to here, depending on who they are, who their family is, what they have access to, and the United States. And yet, there is this joy. There is this resilience, this feeling of community. And, like, we would debrief together at the end of the night, like, how are they so happy? Like, we are seeing conditions that would not have us at our best self. And somehow these individuals are smiling, ready to show us where they live, what their life is like, and they are proud of it. This is what they have created. And so when we got hip to the term Ubuntu, I am because you are, we saw where people's joy is coming from. Like they are seeing themselves and the people around them, and they're seeing that our freedoms are all bound up with each other. If freedom, for one of us to be free, all of us need to be free. And we need to be asking ourselves, like, what does the other person need? The community aspect where we visited was so strong because, you know, everyone is putting together their resources, identifying what their priorities are, and are working together to achieve them. And so Ubuntu is that. It's seeing yourself in the world, seeing how you doing well and you doing well is aligned with someone else doing well, and vice versa.
Yeah. And that's the work we're doing.
It is.
That's the work we're doing.
It is.
Truly is. A period.
Dang, I just learned something. I mean, that's might go into the next question, but who or what inspires you the most, and how does that inspiration influence your daily life and decisions?
I love that. So I love that you asked about Ubuntu, because my response to this question is like really seeing people outside of me be human. And to break it down a little bit more, I think this is for a variety of reasons, but growing up, I just felt such pressure from so many different places to be perfect and to present as this human that was super. And I think I'm super, honey. But like, just, I felt this pressure from the world, from being like first generation American, first generation, like college, like checkbox. I just felt the pressure to succeed. There was no difference. And so seeing people outside of me, especially vulnerability, maybe I should be specific. Seeing humans be vulnerable is very inspiring. I feel when I can be my authentic self, I feel most comfortable. That's when I'm most motivated and inspired. It's when I'm most productive and can get my work done. So when I see that outside of me, like, not that everyone should go around crying, but when I see people cry and like it's just taking space to have an emotion or a feeling. When I see people laughing, like just people outside of norms and structures, it's inspiring. It's like, yes, expression. Like I'm thinking, I do it a lot when I'm out, like I people watch, but like not in a creepy way, unless there isn't a creepy way, then I guess I am. But like, I just love taking in humans, and like when I see somebody with a bad outfit on, especially when it breaks the binary of what somebody might expect an individual wear, that lights me up. So seeing unique, authentic expression in humans outside of me is inspiring. It reminds me like, yeah, girl, like be who you are outside of what society is telling you are.
Hey. Another
Thank
quote.
you.
Another
Okay,
Adrianna
let's
quote.
write
Have
them
a list of
down.
No, we're gonna have a whole list by the time we end up this
I would
interview.
love that.
Like, I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So, what are some of your biggest dreams or goals that you still hope to achieve, and what steps are you taking to make them a reality?
Ooh, thanks for asking this question. I've been growing. Everybody grows, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been one of the things I've noticed I've grown in is seeing and holding space for where people are in their journey. And to say more, I'm going to speak specifically about like racial equity and social justice. Racism exists, period. Racism is a system of advantage and disadvantage based on race. Racial equity is the act of no difference based on race. So there's no influence or positive impact or negative based on your race. That is racial equity, and that's racism. And I name that because those systems exist in the world around us. And as a human being that is doing that work and supporting others in that work, something that was really hard for me was everybody not being in the same place of understanding. And I'm laughing now because like it seems, I feel like I'm so understanding of that now. It's like, wow, but it was hard for me, and it makes sense. Like as someone who has a lot of, we all have intersecting identities. All humans do. As someone who has identities that are marginalized, I feel it. How come you can't see it? Like, hello. And so it was hard for me to be in space with individuals on different journeys, because I would just feel like, I get it. It's clear. Like, read it right here. This is all we have to do. And like, we can be anti-racist. And that's not how it is. Like, we've all grown up so different and come from different identities and experiences. And it's not as easy, especially if you haven't lived it. And I was speaking on a panel yesterday, and I gave an example that I'll also give here about what it's like to adjust to something that you haven't lived. Have any of you driven in a country where you're driving on the other side of the road than you do in the United States?
No.
So I'm Jamaican, and in Jamaica, so in the U.S., we're on the right side of the road. You'll notice in Jamaica and other countries colonized by the British, you're actually driving on the left.
Gotcha.
And it is so mind-boggling, especially if, like, for decades you've only driven on this side of the road. You have to consciously know when you turn, you have to go on this side of the road. And it's, like, hard to adjust. And I akin that to someone who has to reframe their mind on what exists and is around them. And so going back to your question of like what I see myself doing and how I see myself getting there, I love that I've gotten to this place where I can share space and be understanding for someone who is in a different place in their journey. Recently, I've been in spaces. So I said recently I've been in spaces. Prior to recently, my universe has been people that get it. Racism exists. It shows up in our systems, our policies, the way we do things. We have to actively disrupt. And it's not just racism. There are so many isms and other systems of oppression that we can disrupt so that things are different for people. But I've just realized that I want to be in spaces with people on other journeys. It can feel, I do think there's some stigma. I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but I think there's stigma associated with not getting it. So like if someone isn't on a specific level in their understanding of anti-racism or homophobia or transphobia or adphobia-ism here, like people are really shamed for that, because it's like, it can be seen as someone intentionally choosing to not understand and discriminate against someone. But there are individuals who genuinely don't have the knowledge to understand and capacity. And I used to not have this space to hold space with individuals, and now I do. And I see that the way that we can all move forward is if there is some space. And it's not my job, so I just want to put that out there, especially as a Black queer woman, and all my identities. Like, it is not for me to do, but it's something that I found I like doing. I like going back to my mission of creating spaces where we can see and be ourselves. I like creating spaces where people can see their privilege and their power in the context of the world and what it means for other people who don't have that. And so what I want to do is continue to cultivate those spaces of learning, of affinity with people who are trying to learn what it means to disrupt oppressive systems. It's a slow process. It's different from we've grown up learning, but it's important work. And it's also burdensome work. And the reason why I say I want to do it is because it can be really hard to both be the community that is being oppressed and be of that community and holding space with and for people on another journey. It's tough. And who knows, I may not always be able to hold that space. And I think honesty is really important in this work too. But that's what I'm passionate about. I'm like, okay, everybody's on their own individual journey. I'm open and want to be that space that people feel they can be brave in.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, going into your other position, being the president of Boston Pride for the People.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit more about Boston Pride for the People and maybe a bit about the history? Or
Yeah. So I was saying earlier about this pattern that I get into where something needs to change. And as I mentioned, the city, our state was really calling for change. There are people in our LGBTQ plus community that didn't feel seen, didn't feel like they were being heard at the table, valued. And there were calls and advocating for like what it looked like for that to change. And instead of the change coming, there was really a dissolution and an opportunity for new leaders to come in coalition to create a pride organization that was more inclusive and more responsive and aware of what the community needed. And so over, I would say, a 2-year span, there were continued to be a series of coalition meetings. Many LGBTQ groups and leaders were a part of that. And it was us coming together and really talking and thinking about, what does this look like? Like, how is it designed? Who leads this? How do we pay for this? Like, a lot of, like, I know I just named a couple things, but there were critical conversations that spanned over, like, over a year. And there was a smaller scale Pride event that some of our coalition members held in June of 2022. And I remember after that event, I had the opportunity to speak there. And I remember after the event, I got in a circle with some of the coalition members, and they were like, "Adrianna, do you really want to do this?" This was like parade and festival, and you know, we were there. It felt very grassroots. We didn't have a parade in 2022. It was just speaking program and yard games for young people. It just felt great. And I was like, yes, like I want all of this. I did not know what I was signing up for. It was so much. I learned so much. And we started Boston Pride for the People in September 2022. Our coalition efforts prior to that was Pride for the People. And then when we became an organization and decided we were actually going to do this, we became Boston Pride for the People. And our mission is to amplify the beauty, rich diversity, and unique culture of the LGBTQ plus community through commemoration, education, empowerment, and celebration. And in thinking about commemoration, we are commemorating, Marsha P. Johnson and all the individuals that came before us that risked their lives for us to march down this street. I had one of my friends here from another country, from Kenya, and she was just like, girl, we are far away from being able to do this, and just being able to see how you all are able to freely be in community and be yourselves is beautiful. But there are people who risk their lives so that we can honor and observe Pride in the way that we do today. So that is a really important element for us. And our focus as an organization is to plan the yearly Pride Parade and Festival because, honestly, our city got it going on. There's so many amazing leaders, organizers, and groups that have things going on 365. Yeah. And we want to amplify, going back to the mission, we want to amplify those things and keep our focus on this yearly event. And this was our second year doing it. And it was fantastic. There's always so much involved and so many feelings, so much to learn, and just so much growth. We increased so much the number of people who both marched in the parade with us and who also is at the festival. We just are expanding, and I see that continuing to happen in knowledge, in footprint, in community, and it's a beautiful process.
Yeah. Both Tanika and I were out there at Boston Pride for the People.
I've never dressed in so much rainbow in my life. And it was amazing.
I love it.
I love that.
So much.
Oh,
something that stuck out to me is you mentioning your friend from Kenya that came here and was shocked of like the beauty of Pride and how far Kenya has to still go, but you don't have to go that far to go look at other states. And there's so much going on with legislation, drag, trans people, like, etc. So having Pride is so important.
It is.
And I'm sure you have thousands of people that come to Boston Pride from other states as well because they can't have a Pride in their state. So it's so important to have an event like this. you know. So
Yeah, I'm
thank you.
thinking about something you said. I remember last year at the ribbon cutting, so the beginning of the parade, this person approached me. His name's Paul. Shout out to Paul. And I'm trying to remember where Paul is from. I think somewhere in the South. Sorry if I messed this up, but just somewhere that is not Massachusetts.
Right.
That is not as affirming out.
Mm.
And I remember Paul came up to me. Literally, we're about to cut the ribbon. Paul made the way up to the ribbon. Was like, this is my first Pride. I came all the way out here for this, and I just want to say hello. Thank you for planning this with all the other people, and we embraced. It was beautiful. And then Paul came to the ribbon cutting
That's
again
crazy.
this year. We took a so it might be a yearly thing, but
Hey.
yeah, you're right. Just we can look in our backyard, and like
Right.
even to take it further, like there are households, there are
Yup.
whole communities,
Yep.
towns in Massachusetts
Right.
that are not Boston. So there's
Yep.
still so much work to be done. There's progress that have been made. You know, this past May, we saw 20 years of marriage equality for
Yep.
same-sex marriage.
Yep.
It's been 57 years. It's crazy that it's just been 57 years, but 57 years of interracial marriage.
Mhm.
There's been progress, and there's still so much more progress to be had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ah. Sweet. So continuing on with Boston Pride for the People.
Yeah.
Every year there's a theme, and this year's theme is Still Here in Living Color.
Yeah.
Can you share us a little bit about how y'all got to that theme and what that theme means?
Yeah, I am in love with our theme. I'm smiling because I'm remembering the space that we were sharing when we were brainstorming, and it's just so great to be in community. So I remember we were talking about the legislation nationwide, what that looks like for us locally, what that means, what that doesn't mean. And we were also like talking about our resilience as a community. Like we have been through all of this, and still we rise, still we stand. And like, look at us doing it effortlessly in our living color. And so it was literally just us talking about, we were just sitting down, like talking. I remember it was an in-person retreat that we had, and we were like, yo, what are we doing this year? Like, we are still here as an LGBTQ plus community, as individuals. Our entire team is 100% volunteer led and run. All of us are a part of many LGBTQ plus organizations working full time. So like on top of as an LGBT community, as an organizing committee, we are still here with the help of so many dedicated volunteers and doing it in just our unique expression.
Right. I love that. I love that. It's a beautiful
Thank you.
theme. It's a beautiful theme.
Thank you.
Wait, can you take us to that space for a second? That
Yeah.
when you were like deciding the name.
Yeah, I'm there. I thought we were gonna do a guided meditation.
I'm done.
You gotta tell me about the space. I was
Yeah. So we were at the Multicultural AIDS Coalition, the MAC, and the Multicultural AIDS Coalition is our fiscal sponsor. And so we were sitting down there having our in-person retreat, making all these decisions, and like also taking each other in person. We do a lot of our meetings virtually, so it just felt good to just stretch, and they were there and see people. And so that having that, it's so interesting because like it had been a conversation that we were putting off, and somehow it came up when we were in person. And I think that was the missing element. We needed to be in community with each other to really feel like, what is this year? Like, there's the legislation, there's what we're experiencing right now, there are experiences that segments of our community experience every day. Like, what encompasses that? And it was each of us sharing like what our experience and expression was, and it was the thread that went through all of the things that we shared that landed us in the still here in living color.
Period. Yeah, still here and ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
Absolutely not.
What have been some of the biggest challenges you faced as the president of Boston Pride for the People? And what are some of the most rewarding moments you've experienced in your role?
Ooh. So the biggest challenge, I will also say, is the biggest gift. So I guess I can't even claim it anymore. I mean, I guess I still am, but I'm really independent. Like, I will pick up 20 bags of grocery bags before I call anybody. Like, there will be like 5 people inside, and I'm bringing these inside myself. And, you know, I think that's a variety of things that has made me me. But all that to say, like, I sat very comfortably in doing my own thing and following my own tune. And being president of Boston Pride for the People, I have never been in such a diverse group of minds. Like, not only, like, so 80% of our board is BIPOC. And, like, beyond, there's our racial and cultural identities, but just the way we receive information, the way we share information, the way we process it, our approach to doing things, what efficient there was so much diversity, and it was overwhelming because we were building an organization that was transparent, that had shared decision making, clear agreements. Our aim was to build what didn't exist. And that meant talking about everything. That meant everyone being involved. And I was really uncomfortable. I was like, I could type this up real quick and we could be done with it. Like, that was where I was at. And so I was taken out of my comfort zone because I both knew that was how I operated and also knew we were building different. And I needed to be on the different train, or I needed to hop off. And I wanted to be on this train. So that was uncomfortable because that just wasn't how I operated. And I just saw how the beauty of diversity and different people at the table, it added to the richness of what we were doing. Like, time and time again, I would come out of a meeting like, wow, I'm so glad that was a conversation and not a FYI email. Like, wow, like, just, that was a challenge and a gift. Like, I would say I've always been a team player, but also very willing to pick up everything and do it, like, without an issue. But this, like, I go out of my way now, both in work, in life, to make sure that there are a lot of voices. Like, I actually see the value in there being diverse voices and perspectives at the table. I'm also learning discernment, like, where is the line? So I think that's the season that I'm in now, and I think more opportunities will come where I can learn that. So that is the challenge in both the gift. And what was the second half of the question?
Reward.
Oh my gosh.
Moment.
Oh, okay. So that's most reward. So that's one, like, recognizing that as a gift. And two, just when you asked, this popped up. And I think this recreates itself, but I'm thinking of one video from last year. And it represents what I love seeing, rewarding moments. It was this young person from the Boys and Girls Club. And it was like a clip from one of our media partners, and they were like, this is my first Pride, and I'm so excited, and I can just be gay and, like, be myself, and I'm here with my girlfriend, and oh my gosh, the joy, and just recreated. I saw that all last year. This year, I had people hit me up just like, this was awesome. You know, as an organizer, you're always thinking about what was planned, what didn't go as planned. And so, like, you're swirling on all these ideas, but just the feedback, like, either after or just in the real time, just, hey, girl, this is awesome. Just seeing joy. Like, that is, we want joy, queer joy. You know, it's not what we get to see every day in the world, and I think we changing it one day at a time, though. But, like, seeing that is so rewarding. Like, I participate in this work because it's part of my mission. It's what I love to do. Like, we are actively creating a space for all these humans to be and see themselves. So it's directly related to my mission, and that's what I get. But just the joy just is the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. Thanks.
So looking ahead, what are some of the key goals and projects Boston Pride for the People is focusing on to continue advocating for LGBTQIA+ rights and visibility?
Boston Pride for the People is moving forward now with becoming an official 501c3 organization. I told you before, we have the Multicultural AIDS Coalition, who's our fiscal sponsor, strong partner, and we really want to focus on sustainability. Like, what does it mean to create an organization that people can see themselves in, that can be responsive to the needs? And like, we want to set our community up well. Like, we are the ones now, we are not the ones forever. And so we want to make sure that we can ensure that. So we really want to focus on sustainability. What does it mean to put in roots? And also, like, what does it mean to mentor and like also stay engage like our community, our young people, so they can see themselves in being leaders in an organization like this?
That's brilliant. And speaking about our young people, I was over there at the parade, and I think another aspect that's very important is just the amount of, not aspect, more so what I saw at the parade was like so much respect. We were at the booth, at the Fenway Health booth, and there were these kids who were talking to each other and introducing themselves, and they said, "Hi, my name is this person, and then my pronouns are she, her." I heard that and I was like, what? Like, that was so beautiful to hear. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I guess I was just trying to say I love the respect that also comes out of having a space like Pride.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I add another experience
please.
similar to that? So we had a fundraiser, like a family fun fundraiser for youth and families. And I was sitting down just taking in the light, taking in the joy around me. And a young person came up to me, like, I'm smiling because I'm just like, I can be extroverted, but somehow I feel like in this situation as a young person, I'd be introverted. So I was just shocked. Someone came up to me, hi. They said their name, and I was like, nice to meet you. My name's Adrianna. They were like, nice to meet you. My pronouns are she or her. What's your pronouns? Wow. And I said it, and they were like, I'm bisexual. That's why I'm here. I want to be among people like me.
That's
and
powerful.
Then said, I'm 11.
I was like,
and they were actually, their parents were there, like waving, like my parents told me to come say, get to know you. And so I'm sharing that after hearing yours, and I don't know if it's along the same lines, but I'm just like, okay, empowered human, like
confidence, empowered.
Tell me who you are, stand in it, find community. Like, it's so beautiful to see, because I didn't see that growing up, and I wasn't that growing up, and so I don't know if that aligns with what you were thinking.
100%, and that's our future right there.
That's
the next generation.
It is.
Those are the people
they know themselves.
Right. It's beautiful.
It is.
To them, it's just gonna be like common knowledge after all the struggle of like getting there.
It's legit.
It's going from people who are like, what do you mean pronouns, to be like, these are my pronouns.
Okay.
It's all about respect.
I
was just gonna say, bring on some Aretha. But sweet.
Going into Fenway Health, ideally, specifically the Racial Equity Action Plan. What is the Fenway Health Racial Equity Action Plan? Wow.
Yeah, so I'm so proud of our plan. I'm so proud it's something that we have prioritized. It signifies an acknowledgement. That acknowledgement I mentioned before of racism, a system of advantage and disadvantage existing, and what that means for the institutions and systems and structures. And so taking it back to 2020, before 2020, at Fenway Health, we had an employee resource group called the Racial Justice and Equity Collaborative. And that group did so many different things, one of which was to really, acknowledge that racism exists and it impacts everything we do, the way that we interact with each other, the way that we do work, and to call for change. Like, what can we do within Fenway for this change to happen? So that work had been happening within the employee resource group since it started. I think it started in 2007 or 2000, in the mid to like 2005 or later. I apologize, y'all, but that was an effort that started and had been going. And then in 2020, we watched George Floyd get like brutally murdered on live TV. And that moment, the awareness that I talked about on people's journeys, like they don't get it, a lot of people got it after seeing that. A lot of people in our country, in our state, and at Fenway Health. And it was that moment paired with the work that the Racial Justice and Equity Collaborative had been doing that really called for the creation of a path way to anti-racism, an ongoing pathway, and that came in the form of a 5-year plan, which was our racial equity action plan. And it was really thinking about how at every level and facet of our organization can we move towards being an anti-racist organization, how we can actively identify inequities and disrupt systems of oppression so that there can be a space of equity where people can get access, equal access to opportunities and what they need. And so in the fall of that year, we came together with staff, community partners, board members to really think about what it meant to create a plan like this and to author it and to inform the different sections. And we are now entering our second to last year of the plan, and it really allows us to look from the board level to managers and supervisors to who we engage in the community to how we spend our money to how we support our employees. It's really looking at all different aspects and has different quarterly goals to hit that help us get to a place of anti-racism. And it's malleable too. Like, we are a changing world, a changing organization, society. And so we've seen a lot of things. Like, we started that during COVID when a lot was happening. So the context of our world and organization has changed so much, and so has a plan. So it's really been a map. I'm thinking of MapQuest. Y'all remember MapQuest?
Yeah.
Like, it has really been a map for us to get to. It's not a destination, but just to move towards anti-racism. I think it's a big system, racism, and so it will take a lot of disruption to get to a place where we aren't being influenced by race and the opportunities that we achieve, and that plan allows for us to move towards it.
I love it. And I think that's a great segue to our next question.
Yeah.
You spoke to that destination or that North Star.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I do think it definitely is a North Star that you keep getting close to, and it keeps backing up. But a place where we have equal access to everything we need. There are no barriers. Yeah. There are no barriers. It's a place where people are aware of their unconscious biases. Unconscious bias is something that allows us to, based on what we know, based on the experiences we've had, to make decisions to protect us, to survive. Like, it is there are limitations, though. It's a great tool. Like, when you think about it, I always think back, like, you know, unconscious bias tells me, like, okay, not to touch a stove. Like, my mom might have been like, don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove. But, like, I got touched, now it's hot, and I remember to not do it. So, like, unconscious bias is for survival, and there are limitations. And so it's really important, and it's something that we also highlight in the plan as well, to be mindful of our biases and what we can do about them. So I also see a future of people like, and I'm thinking, like, it's something we practice in our work too. Lucci and I, even today, like, we're like, oh, that's my bias. Like, can you believe that at the White House? Like, I would love, like, House of Representatives, like, someone is talking and they're just like, actually, I think that's my bias. That would be amazing to me. That's what I want us to get to.
Absolutely.
Okay. Our last question, our signature question here on Pride in Our Health, is, what does pride mean to you?
Ooh, I love this. I've been saying that for everything just because I've really appreciated everything you all have asked. Pride to me is enoughness. It is enoughness. It is feeling enough, knowing you're enough, and the world showing you that your vision, your expression is, like, belongs in this world and has a space in this world and to be valued. That is pride for me. It's knowing that and being able to feel that in the spaces that you exist and occupy in.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people before you?
Yeah, anything I was going to say.
Happy Pride!
I love it. That's perfect. Sweet. Awesome.
Thank you for
Thanks.
joining us.
Thank you all.
Once again, that was Adrianna Boulin, the Racial Equity, Social Justice, and Community Engagement Director here at Fenway Health.
Yes, man.
How'd you feel about it?
It was good. I always have such a good energy
Yeah.
anytime I'm around her.
Yeah.
It was nice getting to like know her more too.
Yeah. I mean, y'all had that
Same
that link about magnet schools.
Yeah. I didn't, not to diss mass, but I don't know why. I only thought it was like,
A Florida thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's maybe just a
Whole
U.S.
country
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very rare to meet magnet students, especially like creative magnet students.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear like, oh, some schools had a magnet program or had some type of career-led program, it's
Yeah.
usually in the realm of STEM and learning, and then
Right.
not learning and nursing.
Right.
So it was cool
Gotcha.
hearing like the creative part. A takeaway, a takeaway. I got from her two things. I definitely see the repetitive role has come up in her life of where she wants something and then people are like, okay, what are you gonna do about it? I don't know. It's kind of, I could see that as motivating, but I guess like her perspective. Like if I was getting that all the time, I feel like I'd be so tired. But her perspective is so energetic, and it's like, okay, then I'm gonna do it. It's like such a go-getter attitude that I appreciate. I don't think everyone's like that.
Yeah. I feel similarly. I see what you're saying. I see Adriana as someone who's, yes, very energetic, but at the same time so calming.
Mm.
It's weird for me to even say energetic and calming in the same breath or
Yeah.
sentence. But that's what Adriana gives. I think my biggest takeaway from this interview was just how grounded Adriana is as a person.
Okay, and my other point is when I first came here and I was like emailing her, I noticed, first thing I noticed was she would always sign off in community and then Adriana. And I was like, I've never seen someone in my life sign off like that. But now like hearing more behind it, like I'm pretty sure she probably said in community like so many times. I feel like that's just one of her statements that's just her brand, which I really appreciate, and it reflects so much of what she's trying to create and what she represents as well. So it was very insightful, for me, seeing the background the background for her email sign off.
And you just speaking about her email signature just speaks to who Adriana is. If you weren't able to get to know who Adriana is by just this interview, you will notice that everything about her is community. She centers community in everything she is and everything she does. And it just goes back to the phrase that she brought up, Ubuntu, which is, I am because you are. That's something that sticks to me so much because that is essentially our work. Well, one, we are all interconnected as humans. We really are. Once we figure that out and recognize that, I feel like the world could be a way better place. And we're getting there, but there's still
A lot of work to be done.
Yeah. To say the least. But another part of that is thinking about that phrase and thinking about the work we do, the work of public health. Public health is inherently collaborative, or at least it's supposed to be collaborative.
Yeah.
It takes a village. It's not just you and you doing you and that's it. It's you working with others, making sure that we are, working off each other's strengths, and working as a cohesive unit to achieve the goal that we have in mind. That's public health. That's the work we do. And this is why Adrianna is so good at what she does is because she centers community. That is the key thing for any public health practitioner or whomever in whatever, you know, in any position in the health sector. That is key. And I think her understanding that and her living that just goes to show what an amazing person Adrianna is, and her work ethic, her everything.
Yeah.
Her everything overall. So I think that would be my biggest takeaway from this interview for sure. One of many.
Yeah, there were definitely many. And I feel like a lot of the things that she said, I could also personally relate to.
Resonate with.
Yeah. I think it was relate to. Apart from the magnet school. Apart from the magnet school, I mean, I'm also first generation. I have Jamaican heritage, where I was born there. I never lived there. I thought that was interesting. I low-key wanted to dive a little bit more in there, but I'll talk to her off camera. So I don't know. I feel like she brings like so much to everything that she does, and she also brings her authentic self to everything that she does, which I think is a great thing for everyone to do. It just makes your work better and make you better.
She truly is the embodiment of pride. And I don't think there was a better way to end this season than by having someone like Adrianna Boulin as our last interviewee. Interviewee. I was about to say interviewer. I don't know y'all about to catch that, but I caught myself before y'all could catch that. But truly speaking, this is what this podcast is all about. It's literally called Pride in Our Health. Yeah. You know, and we always ask that signature question at the end of every interview: what does pride mean to you? And yes, she answered at the end, but I felt like she answered that question throughout this whole entire interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Truly, you know. So I couldn't have thought of a better person to have as our last interview. Again, I was gonna do it again. Interviewee. For the end of the season.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we finished a whole season of Pride in Our Health, the 2024 era.
2024 era. It's been an amazing season. It's been short, like you said, but we've had so many great guests. You know, we started off our first episode with Kelvin Powell.
And then we had 2 episodes for Trans Day of Visibility, Steph and Matt.
And we finished it off with Adrianna Boulin. You know, what a better guest than Adrianna Boulin to finish us off.
Honestly.
You know what I mean? It's been an amazing experience, and I couldn't think of anybody else to do it with than with you, Miss Tanika McKenzie.
Aww, Lucci.
And there's no A in there.
What?
In Mackenzie.
Oh,
I was gonna say there's no A in Mackenzie and there's a capital K.
I'm dead.
Get it right.
I can't believe it's been my first season and now it's my last. I'm sad. I'm gonna miss bantering with you.
I miss bantering with you. Damn. Cue the what you call it? Cue
sad music.
Yeah, cue the sad music. Cue the
small
raindrops. Cue it all. Yeah, it's gonna be different. But although you won't be here with us for the next few seasons, you always be out here. You've left your footprint, your print, your pink print.
Hey.
Nicki Minaj reference.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not that deep on her.
Yeah, you definitely left your print, and you know, we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you, Miss Tanika McKenzie. You always and forever will be a part of Pride in Our Health and a part of Fenway Health. Always remember that.
You're gonna make me cry. Mess up my makeup.
Nah, don't make it up. Don't mess it up. But I want to do something real quick.
Okay.
As many of you know, at the end of each interview, we ask our guests, what does pride mean to you? That question right there is the cornerstone of what pride in our health is. And so I would like to turn the tables and ask you,
Ooh.
what does pride mean to you?
Okay. I think from being here at Fenway Health, walking in the Pride Parade,
Yes, we did.
that what pride means to me is having love for oneself. I think it's important to not only be yourself, but love the person you are becoming or want to become. And I feel like anytime I see people be, just like Adriana said, their true authentic selves, or be vulnerable, or just have the courage to be a human, I think that's just having pride. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
I hope that actually answers the question.
It does. It does. There's no special way in answering it. Yeah. Pride is. It's really interesting answering or even thinking about that question being in the middle of Pride Month. You know what I mean? And Pride is for everyone. The message of Pride is for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, to love oneself as they are. To love themselves as they are now. To love themselves, love who they were.
And love who they're becoming.
Exactly. You really hit a point in your life when you really realize, you know what I mean? Like, we go through so many chapters if we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
We go through so many chapters of life. And how amazing is that to look back and love each and every chapter of who you were, who you are, and like you said, who you're becoming. There's so much power in that. So much power. And I think that's the essence of pride.
Have love for yourself. Have pride in your health.
Yes. And happy Pride Month.
And happy Pride Month. It was great being y'all's co-host.
Hey.
Yee.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.